Boys and girls, your attention, please. Presenting a new exciting radio program featuring the thrilling adventures of an amazing and incredible personality. Faster than an airplane, more powerful than a locomotive, impervious to bullets.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
But we're here at the premiere of Superman Red Sun.
Okay.
Start talking to the star Lois Lane. What kind of pressure, or did you feel any pressure of sliding into such an iconic role after Amy Adams, Margot Kidder?
Yeah, there's been a lot of great Lois Lanes, and it's such a it's kind of one of those parts that I grew up watching that original Superman movie and idolizing Lois Lane and thinking that's who I wanted to be when I grew up. So getting to play the part was definitely exciting and nerve-wracking, but because there was such a switch on it, it felt like something new and fun to get to do.
Do you take any inspirations from those previous incarnations?
I mean, definitely you have in your mind just, I think everyone has this sort of sense of who Lois Lane is if you've watched any Superman movie, and I had watched a bunch of them, and even from like Smallville and stuff, like everyone's got their own version of Lois Lane. So I think that was in there, but just the way they wrote the character and the dialogue and the script, and that so many things were changed, it was almost like you had to play against some of that stuff for this movie.
Can you tease a little bit of that, how different the Superman-Lois relationship is now that they're growing up worlds apart, countries apart?
Well, her Superman relationship is different, but the biggest difference is that she's married to someone else, which is Lex Luthor.
Okay.
So that's a big
Spoilers.
change. Yes. But if you watch the comic, you know that going in. But yeah.
Okay. You've been in a couple of things that I'm really fond of, Cabin in the Woods, Angel, but you were also in a little project, Return to the Batcave.
Yes.
Where you played Burt Ward's wife, Bonnie Lindsay. Did you get to work with Burt or Adam? Do you have any memories from that set? Can you talk about that a little bit?
We got to sort of briefly meet them as they were there, but it wasn't a real, I didn't get to spend a lot of time with them. My funniest memory from that set is that they cast me in that without asking how tall I was. And then I showed up on set, and obviously Burt Ward was a shorter guy, and the guy playing him was about a foot shorter than me. So on all the scenes, like us walking in the beach, they had to dig like 2-foot ditches in the sand.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, that's about all I got. Like I said, the website is Retro Cool Nerd. The podcast is Saturday Morning Cereal. So Amy, do me a favor, look right in the camera. Tell us what your favorite Saturday morning cereal is.
Oh. Hi, I'm Amy Acker, and my favorite Saturday morning cereal is Cocoa Puffs.
Cocoa Puffs, yeah, all right. Thanks so much, Amy.
Thank you.
My name's Jimmy, and we're here with Vanessa Marshall at the premiere of Superman Red Sun in Hollywood. She plays Wonder Woman.
That's right.
And what can you tell us about this version of Wonder Woman that's vastly different from all the other versions of Wonder Woman that we're familiar with?
That's a great question. I think she is very much like the Wonder Woman that we know and love. There are a few details, no spoilers. I won't say what they are, but there are a few very unique details about this Wonder Woman that I really enjoyed playing. And one thing that I really loved about her is that while she is of a different world, she doesn't take a side between America or Russia, so she's able to really be an independent thinker, and I found that to be one of her strongest points in this particular movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you also play Hera.
That's right. In Star Wars Rebels.
You're one of the few people that get to straddle a couple different universes, the DCU, the Star Wars universe. Is there any comparison between those two characters, or how you approach the roles?
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah. Well, you'll see in this movie, because it takes place in a very specific era, the feel of it's very cinematic, and it definitely feels of that time. Whereas obviously Rebels is in outer space.
Right.
It's a very different sort of intergalactic feel, and it's much more playful and more of a comedy, I would say, even though it's a drama. But this one is definitely a very serious drama, and in that sense, it demands to be taken seriously and different energy.
So was there a little more serious tone in the booth? Was Wes Gleason
Yes.
voice director?
Wes was an amazing director. He is an absolute genius. It was very heartfelt, I think, and very grounded. And of course, Star Wars was like that as well. But these particular scenes, as you'll see, there's a lot that goes down, and it comes from the heart. So he helped everyone get there right on time, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Oh, I'm sure we will. We're really looking forward to it.
Awesome.
So, like I said, my name is Jimmy. The website is Retro Cool Nerd. The podcast is Saturday Morning Cereal. So, Vanessa, do me a favor, listen into that camera, and tell us what your favorite Saturday morning cereal is.
Cocoa Puffs.
Cocoa Puffs for two.
Right?
Thanks so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
I can't wait to see the
Thank
movie.
you.
Ready?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that's what we're
Roger
doing.
Craig Smith.
Yes,
What a
sir.
pleasure.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
My name is
sir.
Jimmy.
Jimmy?
I'm with Retro Cool Nerd.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
The podcast is Saturday Morning Cereal.
Oh, very cool.
And,
I love it.
Yeah,
Saturday morning cereal.
We are here to talk about Superman Red Sun.
Yes.
And we're talking to Batman.
Yes.
You've played Batman in several incarnations.
Yes.
Besides Red Sun, obviously, is your favorite. What's your favorite Batman that you've played?
Oh, that I've
Let me
played?
narrow it down a little bit.
Wow, that's tough. I mean,
Okay, open it up.
for the sheer absurdity of what I have done, Batman Ninja was a blast. But obviously, getting to do Batman in Arkham Origins was just incredible. That was just amazing. I mean, that was one of those man, oh man, I don't know how this is going to go over, and I can't believe I've been given this opportunity. But I hope they enjoy it. But so I would say my favorite version that I've been able to participate in was Batman Arkham Origins, for sure. Yeah.
Tell us about how the relationship between Batman and Superman develops a little differently in this movie. Can you tease it at all without giving us any spoilers? Being
Probably
answer.
not. I would just simply say this. Every single character in this film feels as if what they're doing is the most important thing, and that what they're doing is for the greater good. And I find that a fascinating aspect to this. Is it definitely because it's this Elseworld aspect. It's funny to kind of tweak what we've come to know and think about these characters, and to see them in this different environment and go, oh yeah, how would Batman be perceived by others? And arguably with this version of Batman, he still feels as though what he's doing is sticking up for the innocent, sticking up for people who don't have a voice against oppression and whatnot. So it's pretty interesting. His techniques are very different in this version. But no, I would say that there's not much of a difference in dynamic, because both of them feel that my way is the way it should be done.
And are you bringing anything much more than a Russian accent to this? Is there more?
Without spoiling too much, I mean, I would say he's maybe not as grim as, in comparison to like different versions that I've done, maybe not as grim as Origins Batman, and a little more maybe of the world than superhero. You know what I mean? Because he's much more of just a sort of vigilante in this than he is necessarily a superhero. And it's interesting. They don't necessarily show that. They show that he's got influence, but it's not as if I don't know that he's notorious or that he's working with the right people or that kind of thing. Yeah. So no, but I mean, arguably, what we're looking at too is he has to have a slight Russian accent.
So like I said, my name's Jimmy. The website is Retro Cool Nerd. The podcast is Saturday Morning Cereal.
Awesome.
Roger Craig Smith, do me a favor. Look right in that camera and
Yes.
tell me your favorite Saturday morning cereal.
My favorite Saturday morning cereal is Fruit Loops. The bloody roof of your mouth is so worth it.
Right.
It's
Very
just the
damaging
absolute.
inside and out.
It's such sweet damage. It's the best damage.
Right.
I miss Fruit Loops.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
man.
Jimmy.
Looking
Thanks,
forward
man.
to the movie.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Disneyland? I don't know if you've heard of it. So my name's Jimmy. I'm with Retro Cool Nerd. We're recording for a podcast called Saturday Morning Cereal, so I'm going to hit you up with your favorite cereals in a little bit.
Okay.
But first, let's talk about playing Jon Stewart and Superman Red Sun. What are you bringing to this character that's new to Jon Stewart?
Well, the voice is not new.
Right.
The voice is the same.
Different incarnation.
But it's a very different world and a very different approach to the character. So in this one, it's really more about the core, because it's with Hal, which in the original Justice League series, Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan never interacted. There was no Hal Jordan in our storyline. So this is, being part of the core is something that when I played John Sword, we never got to explore that much. So that part is new.
Talk about a little bit, maybe working with Wes Gleason as opposed to working with Andrea Romano. Is there any comparison between the two?
Well, Wes is really, really good. I mean, it's actually more a difference between the form than the people. Because with Andrea, we did a series. So it was week in, week out, and 20 minutes only.
Right.
Wes was directing an entire feature film, with a huge cast. And so it's a very different approach.
A little more sense of time, a little more...
Yeah, and it's more broken up, although I think that has something to do with the fact that people don't really record groups together anymore like they did back in the old days. Although Wes was great because he did get a group of us together when we did a recording for this, and that always makes it better because you're actually performing a scene with other actors.
Right.
And you wind up discovering moments and creating things that you wouldn't if you were just you alone and a microphone.
Do you get a chance to do your Lantern Oath in this movie?
No, because it's not really Superman. It's not Green Lantern Red Sun.
Okay.
Although that would be a weird title.
I'm at the wrong place if it is, right?
Right. Green Lantern Red Sun. What happens when you mix green and red together? You get brown.
So, like I said, the name of the podcast is Saturday Morning Serial. Phil Lamar, decades spanning media, voice actor. Do me a favor, look right at the camera and tell me what is your favorite Saturday morning serial?
My favorite Saturday morning cereal would have to be Trix, which, as an adult, I can no longer eat anymore.
Thanks a lot, man. I'm really looking forward to the movie. Yeah, let's get to everybody. Travis, how you doing? My name's Jimmy.
Jimmy, Travis, nice
What
to
a
see
pleasure
you.
to meet you.
Thank you, man.
I'm with Retro Cool Nerd is the website.
Retro
The
Cool
podcast-
Nerd.
The podcast we're doing is Saturday Morning Cereal, so I'm going to hit you up for your favorite cereal in a little while.
Ooh, okay.
But
okay.
first, let's talk about your role in this movie, Superman Red Sun. What do
Yes.
you bring into this part?
So I play Superior Man. I was pleased to see that he has a very timeline-appropriate buzz cut, flat top, which is good. And for me, it was about knowing what the Superman persona sounds like. You have an idea in your head of what he's supposed to sound like when he's warm, extolling values. But in this case, he's sort of devoid of all of that, right? He's very mission-focused. He's a countermeasure to what the Soviets have put forward. And he does have, some patriotic tendencies, but it's really more of a shoot first, ask questions later. It's very cold, very calculating. So it was interesting in that regard to see him just really be fight focused, more encounter focused than, extolling the sort of platitudes and virtues that you're used to hearing from Superman.
Can you tell us his origin? Is that too much of a spoiler right now?
Well, I think he comes from the genius mind of Lex Luthor and his machinations. I'll leave it up to the viewers to figure out exactly what that means, but he definitely has enough to give Superman and the Soviet Union a run for his money.
And then is this your first voice acting gig?
It is not. It is not. I was actually the heretic in
That's
Batman.
right.
Bad
I
Blood.
apologize. That's right.
Oh, no,
we were
yeah,
talking about that on the way down here. So I did want to kind of talk to you about how do you like voice acting compared to other styles of acting?
I love it because you're not restricted by your body type, your age. It's all about what you can do with your voice and really just what you can do with your mind. Voice acting is so much a theater of the imagination. If you can assume a different age sound, a different accent, if you can change the pitch or timbre of your voice, then you're really sort of unlimited in what you can play. And it's been great to be able to come in and play different parts in different spaces. It's really, really fun.
I dig it. Yeah. So, like I said, my name's Jimmy. This has been Travis Willingham. The name of the podcast is Saturday Morning Serial. So do me a favor, look right into that camera. That's up there now. And tell me what's your favorite Saturday morning cereal?
Oh man, when I was a kid, it was Thundercats with a close second. That's just one of my favorites. And Silverhawks.
All right. Yeah, man. All right, Travis,
Awesome.
Thanks. We're really
Thanks,
looking forward to the movie.
Jimmy.
Thanks for your
Appreciate
time, man. I
it, brother.
appreciate it. So, Roy, am I saying that right?
Yes, you are indeed.
All right, here we are at the premiere of Superman Red Sun with Sasha. My name's Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy.
I'm with Retro Cool Nerd. We're recording a podcast for Saturday Morning Cereal, so I'm going to ask you your favorite cereal in a little bit.
Okay.
First, let's talk about you playing Hal Jordan.
All right.
What are you bringing to this? Is your first time playing a superhero?
It is, yeah. No, I'm honored and I'm thrilled that they asked me to participate. This is more than I thought. I guess I didn't realize. I think I was naive in thinking maybe that it wouldn't have a following as huge as this, but my God, what a treat. Hal, I mean, it was a pleasure to play. I love this universe that they've created. I'm a big fan of reimagining history and kind of reconfiguring it, and they did such a fantastic job. So you see a very different Hal because we have an existential threat at this point. The entire country, as we know it, is as a threat, and what a timely sort of release, right? I mean, when we have some of that going on in our world today.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you get a chance to give the Green Lantern oath?
The Green Lantern
oath?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe you could tell me a little bit about Superman and Hal's relationship in this universe. Could you drop a couple hits before we see the movie about that?
Well, I mean, it's not Superman as you know it. I mean, they're major adversaries, and there's a huge battle that's going to take place. But you see a side of Hal that you probably haven't seen before, where he's pretty bloodthirsty.
You mentioned this is your first time voice acting?
And something this large, yes.
Right, okay. So what do you prefer, or what do you like about voice acting compared to other forms of entertainment?
I love the liberty of it. It doesn't rely on what I look like or what I'm doing. It simply relies on my imagination and what I could bring to my voice and the screen. And so the freedom of that is really remarkable and feels rather boundless. And I appreciate that.
Right on. Okay, so like I said, my name's Jimmy. This is Sasha.
Yeah.
We're with Saturday Morning Cereal. Do me a favor, look right in that camera and tell us what your favorite Saturday morning cereal is.
I am so boring with that. Anything with incredibly high fiber is what I'm eating. It's the lamest cereal. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. I just ruined breakfast.
No, not at all. Thank you, Sasha.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Looking forward to the movie. Thanks, man.
Appreciate
your time. How's it going? What a pleasure to meet you in person, man. I've been listening to you for so many years. My name's Jimmy.
Nice to meet you,
We're here
Jimmy.
with Phil at the world premiere of Superman Red Sun. Tell us about who you're going to be playing today.
I play James Olsen, and James is a much more mature, grounded, serious guy than what we've seen in the comics. He's also African American, a little different.
Okay.
He's also loyal to Lex Luthor in this Elseworlds version of this. He's a military officer and then becomes an agent and then something else that I don't want to give away.
Okay. So he's no longer Superman's pal.
No longer Superman's pal, but he's the same. The internal workings are the same. He just has shifted his loyalty to, well, he doesn't know Superman, to Lex Luthor, but he's just as eager. He's just as Johnny on the spot as the other Jimmy Olsen.
You've been doing this for quite some time.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, live action, voice acting. What's your favorite thing about voice acting?
I don't have to get in makeup at 4 a.m, and it's a freeing experience. I'm not bound to my physicality. I can play a Chinese bus driver. I can play a French waiter. Because I can only look like so many things. But I can sound. I mean, what do I got? How much is my imagination? How deep is it? How deep is the well? So that's what I love about voiceover. And, hold on. Like you've been talking to these people. Some of us are on camera, like Jason, myself, more on camera. And there's some that are voiceover talents. In my estimation, voiceover actors are some of the most well-studied, well-trained. The references are amazing. And I love working with them every single. I say them because I'm more of an on-camera guy. And they are such geniuses with what they do. Just to be considered in their league, I'm honored.
Can you maybe tell us a story about working with Andrea Romano back in the Justice League days?
My first job for DC was Justice League, and Andrea hired me. I don't know how she knew me. I really don't. And so I got into this crazy world. And so then there's this beautiful, gray, short-haired woman, silver-haired woman in the booth giving us the most amazing directions, and every one of them was spot on to each different character, from male to female, from hero to villain. She knew them inside and out and gave us different ways to go with our take every single time. That's genius. That's the first time I ever met that woman. And every time they ask me to work, I of course, I say, of course.
Sure. Why wouldn't you?
She's a legend.
I know we got to get in for the premiere. We're just minutes away. So my name's Jimmy. Phil, thanks for your time.
Jimmy, thank you so
Do me
much.
a favor. The name of the podcast is Saturday Morning Cereal. Look right in this camera. Tell us what your favorite Saturday morning cereal is.
Yeah. My favorite Saturday morning cereal is Saturday morning cereal.
I'll take it. I'll take what we get. Yeah, man. Thanks for your time, boss.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. My pleasure. All on this side. Here we are. My name's Jimmy. I'm with Retro Cool Nerd. The name of the podcast is Saturday Morning Serial.
Super.
We're here with the titular star of Superman Red Son, Jason Isaac. Tell me, what are you going to bring to this iconic role other than a Russian accent?
Nothing. It's finished now. It's done.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. What
I
is
did.
your
What
favorite?
did I bring? I mean, I don't know what I brought to it. It's brilliantly written. It's unlike any other Superman anyone's ever seen before or engaged with before, because he landed in Soviet Russia. But he is the same Superman in that he's completely committed to fairness and honesty and truth, justice, and to trying to make people live good and equal lives. He just lands in a different system and is completely convinced by it. And one of the things that's most engaging about the film, apart from the fact it's got a million twists and turns and you meet so many familiar DC characters who are nothing like the DC characters that you know, so you have to forget all your baggage. Apart from all the entertainment value of that, it's just a reminder we live in this incredibly divisive world where people have dug these trenches and that they're in, on political issues, and that they can't get out, despite the evidence all around them that maybe they've bricked themselves into a position that they don't belong in. And this film makes that dramatic and live, and so it gives you. There's a ton to talk about when the credits roll.
Like right now. So you are Superman. Oh, that's what I want to say. You do a lot of PR for various movies, big things like Harry Potter and smaller things like this. What do you think of talk about the press action? Talking to the reporters.
Well, the thing about press is, my favorite stories I've ever watched are when I've been at a film festival and someone says, I've got a ticket for a film at midnight. And you go and you have no idea who's in it, you have no idea what it's about. You have, there's no expectations. It's not framed by someone telling you this is going to win an Oscar or whatever. But the reality is you have to bring an audience. So it's tricky because you don't want to tell people the story of what they're going to watch. As soon as you know the story of what you're going to watch, part of the joy is ruined. It's like telling someone, in this magic trick, I'm going to take a coin. You'll find that it appears in the middle of that apple. It destroys it. So it's a compromise. It's a deal with the devil. I don't mind doing it. I'm happy to go and talk about things. I'm much happier talking about things I'm in when I think they're good. Like, I think this is fucking great. Yeah. I saw it, I just saw it a couple of days ago. And it blew me away. I don't enjoy when I have to go around and try and tell people to watch things that I don't think are very good. I hope the audience can read between my lines. That it's part of my professional obligation. But every now and again, if I'm lucky, I try and choose only to be in things I'm proud of, and then it's perfectly fine. Yeah, I don't mind doing it. There's two things. One is things are ideally seen without you knowing anything about them, without any kind of plot spoilers. And the other thing is, when I grew up, those actors that I worshipped, the whole 70s generation of De Niro, Pacino, and Hoffman, I knew nothing about them. I don't need to know what, religion, class, sexuality, I don't know anything. I want to just believe who they are on the screen. And so this whole fashion for everybody pouring their heart out in public therapy in magazines or doing podcasts where they tell you about, the teacher who molested them at school or whatever, and for going behind the scenes after an episode of a show, ruins it for me as an audience. I get why it happens. It's a crowded world. But for me as a viewer, as a punter, I like to just approach things dark and watch them. Once I've read 3 articles about something, I don't enjoy watching it.
Yeah, too much going in, yeah. What about, can you tell me a little about one of my favorite other roles that you played is Lorca? Are we ever going to see, can you hint, are we going to see maybe in the future of Discovery, will we come back?
I'm still
you
in touch.
Fall into a big vat of foreshadowing, right?
Right. I mean, it's the Star Trek universe, and there's currently 3 shows. And there's Picard and there's Discovery. There will be Section 31 show. So there's many opportunities. I'm still very friendly with the fabulous Alex Kurtzman and Akiva Goldsman who run it all. I saw them the other day, and we chatted. And who knows? The thing about Lorca is it was an amazing storyline. That whole first season. There's probably people who haven't seen it yet. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it was a storyline that had a beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
So if I come back, all of us agree that it better be really good, because you don't want to dilute it or do some pale version of it.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, that we never met Prime Lorca.
Right.
We don't know where he is or what's happened to him. And they're pretty imaginative. They can find all kinds of interesting things. So the door is open. Let's say that.
Did you know going in that you were not?
Yeah, I knew everything going in.
Oh,
because I had to play a secret. You can't act a secret unless you know what it is. I had a whole secret agenda.
So well done. I knew the secret before I watched the whole thing, and knowing that made it a little better for
Well,
me
that's
because
true.
the way you played it. So
Well, when people watch it a second time through, you enjoy
Yeah.
it. It's like watching The Sixth Sense second time through.
Right, yeah,
It's still enjoyable, but on a completely different level.
Right.
You know.
Well, hey, my name's Jimmy Jason. Thanks so much for your
It's
time.
great to meet you.
The name
Thanks
of the
very much.
podcast is Saturday
Saturday
Morning
Morning Cereal. I
Do me a
remember.
favor. Look right in that camera and tell us what your favorite Saturday morning cereal is.
My Saturday morning cereal is "Don't fucking wake me up, kids." Thanks very much. How about that?
I wish I had a box of that. Hey, thanks for your time, man.
Thanks, man. Bye.
Okay. Hey, Sam. Jimmy Lesczczynski, Retro Cool Nerd. Okay. And the name of the podcast we're recording today is Saturday Morning Cereal, so I'm going to ask you your favorite cereal in a little while. But we're here at the premiere of Superman Red Sun with super director Sam Liu. Tell us first, why did you pick this project out of so many stories in the DC universe? Why are we bringing this one to the animated universe?
This story has come across my desk quite a few times in the past. And, I think that's just the way it sort of goes. Sometimes it's we have too many Superman, like either too many Batman stories, too many Superman. You can never have too many Batman stories. But there's some sort of strategy thing or something that happens that there have been a few times where I thought I was going to work on the Red Sun, and it didn't happen. And so this time, it just happened.
Okay. What about, are you involved in the choices? The original story is 3 issues long, I believe, right? Are you involved in the choices of cutting it down? What makes it in? What makes it cut?
I'm sort of a newer producer at this point, and also I work with a legend, Bruce Timm, So a lot of the times he gets first crack at it, right? He's the one that sort of says like, oh, let's do this type of story. Even like the Fatal Five, right? He was just picking things that he was potentially interested in, and then a writer will sort of give him something, and then they'll start going through the we like redo it, we don't like it, or oh, there's something there, okay, let's work with this, let's massage that. So a lot of times, since I've become a producer, I come in a little bit earlier now. Before, when I was strictly a director, the script is just handed to me, and I can make a couple of last-minute notes. But now, James Tucker, a little bit more than Bruce Timm. But in this case, again, a lot of it was sort of already, the groundwork is already done. And again, I wouldn't really want it any other way because, I'd rather have Bruce put down what he wants first before I start putting in what I feel like needs to happen.
Is this story in what's coming to be known as the Tuckerverse?
Oh no, this one is a Bruce Timm one. So yeah, it's tricky because when they say Timmverse, I think they think that it's tied to either Justice League,
right,
or it's tied to Batman the Animated Series.
Okay.
So it's not really a Timmverse, but it's a Bruce Timm story.
What I really like, what we really enjoy about these DC movies is we get to a lot of times see in the background a lot of deep bench characters that you might not otherwise get to see, getting dug up for cameos and whatnot. Can you tease anybody that we might see in this?
There are some familiar names, but again, it's so flipped on its head. None of them are the same as they're all reinterpreted, all reinvented. So I think there's I don't think there's as many in this.
Can you tease us what's in the shoot, what we can expect next?
Gary would kill me because again, his standard thing is I can't talk about anything that hasn't been announced by him. So.
I see. Okay. All right. Well. Hey, thanks for your time. I know we got to get in there for the premiere of Superman Red Sun. My name's Jimmy. We're talking with Sam Liu. The name of the podcast is Saturday Morning Cereal. So Sam, do me a favor, look right into this camera and tell me what your favorite Saturday morning cereal is.
My favorite Saturday morning cereal, and I still think it's the best, is Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch, yes.
The best.
The best. Berries or no berries?
I don't need the berries. I'll take them with the berries, but preferably no berries.
Okay, real quick while I got you, do you think, in your opinion, Batman kills the Joker at the end of the Killing Joke?
Bruce and I have talked about it, and again, even what I say, somebody's going to think something else.
Sure, but in your opinion, the first time you read it? Or
Right.
Nobody's going to hold you to the mat. I just like to ask everybody that question.
Right. I'm trying to think what Bruce said, and I'm trying to think what I said, because I think I thought that he did kill him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks, Sam. Okay, thank you. Thanks for your time, brother. I appreciate it.
Thanks for your interview.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks, Sam. Thank you. Did you have a good time?
There you go.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Superman! Yes, Superman! Strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman! Who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights the never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way.